Uh, so, my name is Ricardo. I'm from Portugal. I have 41 years old. I have a complete passion about any type of dog, but specific, I love terriers. I started with it completely opposite. I started with 5 years old with my first cocker and spaniel and my first large Portuguese podenco. And after that, it's been an amazing roller coaster because I've done so many years of show dogs, and for the past, I don't know, 20 years, 21 years, I only like working dogs and fit dogs and dogs with some purpose in life, okay? Fed up to see mistreating of fat sofa air conditioning dogs. Dogs need to be happy. So my dog life is being always to try to have better dogs than I started. Mm-hmm. In healthy issues, breeding issues, working traits, and whatever. You need to know what you're doing in some type of dogs. Of course, you can see so many dogs from companion breeds that do something that has heart, and that's what ticks me in dogs: the presence, the working with the humans, and always show. So my first teachers are always dogs. Mm-hmm. So it's been a happy life. So 21 years ago, I had my first pit bull. And then it was like 15 years with pit bulls, amazing breed. Then I started to hunt with pit bulls and yak terriers with a friend and his dogs. I met the Jack Terriers, and it was an amazing way to start on terriers, because then I bought my first Jack Terrier from that guy, and believe me, it was too much for me. It was an amazing teacher, but too much for me. I was humbled at that time to say to my dog and to the breeder of him, this dog is too much for him. He has so much heart, so much hunting passion, that I can't keep up with him, okay? Mm-hmm. And that was what started with hunting terriers. So I started with wild boars, and then when my Jack Terrier started working on underground digging, underground work, and then I found out they are too hard, okay? We have to, at that point in my life, I had acquired veterinary skills, okay? I studied a bit, I helped some veterinarians, and at that time, it was amazing. I applied so much knowledge to that little dog because they were too hard, and when a dog is too hard, he lacks good sense, okay? Mm-hmm. And you cannot hunt with him all day, every day. Mm-hmm. And then I started searching at the same time people who did the work, the type of work. In my country, only a few people know this kind of hunting, this type of work. So it was very hard in Portugal to find someone to hunt with, to learn, because everything in dogs is a big learning curve, and you never know. Every day you learn something new, or by a dog, or by a mate, or even by the quarry that you are hunting. So I entered some UK forums, amazing forums, by the way. Still full of good posts and amazing people sharing, mainly not sharing, but the ones good was sharing. I found out about the English people, the UK guys that have patterdales and fells, and at that time they were considered apart, and still today, because they don't have the same things. I don't know what the crosses were between before to keep them working, but the fell dog can be bayer and mixer more easily than the patterdale. I don't know, maybe the guys on patterdale area, because of the smooth coated crosses, they put a little bit more bull, but fell terriers, they work more intelligent. I think they are smarter, and because they are more mixers, and I own a hard one, so it's a like Bill. It's a very hard dog because he enters and he's a silent dog and a hard dog. So imagine that for a dog with 13 years old that has 3 big kennel accidents with pit bulls. So the dog with 1 year had a broken jaw, and with 3 years he has a completely useless front right leg. So he still works and still hunts. So they have heart and passion.
Right.
Common. It's common for them. So, and then I started to making friends. Got Bill first from France, from gone digging. Bill is from a cross of a dog called Bud and a bitch called Gamble, that Bud daughter, I believe, and he's amazing. 13 years, it's been around and top producer for me. I mainly use Bill in almost every cross because I know what he gives me. Then I went to Belgium. I meet up with Mr. Ronnikut, amazing hunter. Spent a lot of time, talked about dogs, saw his dogs, and brought from him a little bitch inbred on Pickaxe dogs, Tilly and Chad. So it was a very small inbred bitch, 5.5 kilos. She was shy and fear of her own shadow, but when she saw or smell any type of quarry, she will turn devil. One time I dig her, and the fox was huge, was almost 2.5 sizes of her, and she worked very hard. Then I met from Netherlands Mr. E from Kennels, a very good friend, a person that gifted me one of the amazing bitches that I ever owned, because called Miso Porto, based mainly from Klutz lines, Klutz dogs. So you know, Klutz dogs are mainly old Nuttall blood from Brian Nuttall. They were good friends, and at some point in Belgium it crossed with Lakelands, Taffies, and another ones, okay, because up in Europe they get another types of quarry and needed more skills,
right?
More skill set from mouth and other areas. So that was my first terrier pack, a jag called Ziggy, and 3 Patterdales. No, one fell Patterdale, that is Bill, and 2 Patterdales, Zina from Pickaxe Floods, bred by Oliver Meaden and Marcel, amazing friends, hunting friends also. And it started to happen. Then I got also a gift from Terrier Kennels that was Dapper. That was my big teacher also, because when all of the others were prospects, pups, and I went hunting with Dapper and Ziggy at start. And this was 13 years ago, mate.
Wow.
And after that I start breeding my dogs, selecting my dogs. Mainly, my philosophy, what I want in a underground working terrier is, it has to be hard, it has to be big hearts, warrior hearts. If it's a Bayer, I prefer a Bayer or a mixer. Hard dogs, I prefer to say, if you want a hard dog, go get it. Okay, I prefer a mixer because they know how to hunt, and I want to hunt a dog how much I can. Okay. In my country, we started to hunt underground digging without locators. Okay. Okay. We use the T-bar and the broken bar to locate them, and for our dogs it's very difficult, as you can imagine, because you never know. 3 meters, 7 meters under, you don't feel nothing. 1 meter, you feel it in your shoes, in your feet, but after that, in the hard clay terrains is very hard. Okay, I get terrains like sandy to hard rock clay. Okay, Portugal has many types of field, because we are a small country, you know. So in 3 or 4 hours, I'm in Spain.
Right.
Okay, it's easy to go to Spain, and I went there with some friends, Portuguese friends, there to hunt with some Spanish friends that has amazing Patterdales also, mainly Schwab's line. So my terriers, as I'm saying, in hunting traits, okay. I want a dog that stays there until dig up, or until he can flush the quarry, okay? No matter what, okay? It's important, it's huge, this trait. Without this trait, you don't have a working dog. You maybe have a fighter slash hunter, okay? Because a dog with this passion, when you remove the quarry from his eyes, from front of him, he starts to hunt again. And in underground, in the asset, you can have multiple quarries. I can get from badger to herpeste. It's a kind of how you say, mongoose? Yeah, mongoose. It's a type of mongoose from North Africa. Okay, we have plenty of them. They are starting. We don't have nutrients in Portugal. Okay, nutrients stop in Spain. I feel sorry for that, because it's a very nice quarry. I hunted in France and in the Netherlands, and it's a very nice quarry also. But mainly in Portugal, you can do legal hunts of fox and wild boar. Badgers, you can only control the population. Okay, it's not calling a hunting period. Okay,
right.
The manager of the hunting grounds does the population control as it needs. Okay, and basically is this physical. What you need to physical to have a working terrier, Sean.
Mm-hmm.
I can tell you that you need a sound body, soundness. It's the same trait to any working breed. You need to have soundness. Mm-hmm. And in terriers, if it's not spannable, you will bury it. Okay?
Right.
I don't know if it's 1 year from now, 2 years from now, but a dog, a terrier that doesn't have a spannable chest, he is going to be stuck at some point of his life.
Right.
Okay, I have two, three, four things like that in my life, and the main reason is that I saw was it wasn't spannable enough. Okay, so my traits are these: healthy in terms of breathing, in terms of locomotion, a soundless body, a big heart, and the will to stay there until dig up or the quarry runs away from him. Okay? Mm-hmm. This is my philosophy in underground working terriers. Now, if he is a hard dog, if he's a mixer or a bayer, I work them the same way. Okay? Mm-hmm. But I have to be honest, and with a bayer mixer, you work set after set, all day, 2 days, a week. If you want to hunt a month, for sure, you don't have many damage when you take him home.
Right.
Okay? Right. If it's a hard dog, you will need 15 to 1 month of aftercare. And that's a point very, very important. And if you can, we need to talk about aftercare, because there is too much people getting in working terriers or working dogs, because every dog can hurt himself. Okay?
Right.
And the first person that is there is the handler or the breeder or the worker or the hunter, and they need to know minimal aftercare. Okay, it's the difference between taking your dog home every day and going hunting the next morning.
Right.
Okay. Right. I have to thank the pitbull community, because they are the best of the best community, because everything is there. And when you think that some treatment, some ointment, this is like, how you say, in the Old West, there was a guy selling always an ointment that solved everything. Okay?
Snake oil salesman? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. Okay? And sometimes it appears there in that community, because it's the oldest community that you know that work our dogs to, we have to say, to the extreme. Okay?
Right.
So what they know, it's very important for every dog person. Training, sporting, hunting, whatever the sport. Okay?
Right.
So usually I learn a lot with the aftercare of the, I think, Cali Jack manual from 2002 to whatever. So many things weren't available in my country, so I found out other ointments and other treatments and other thing to to revive our dogs, because I think, bear with me with this thought. Underground working terriers, for me, a part of pit bulls, are the ultimate extreme working dog. Okay? They enter a hole, a dark hole. Many times they don't know what they're going to get. Okay? Lack of oxygen. Some quarries are hundreds of years old. I know here a hill that has 39 holes. Okay? And it's huge. Huge. I lost 2 dogs there. It's huge. It's the ultimate task. Okay? Because I don't know how many Mr. Greys are in there. Okay? It's impossible to know. So they enter a hole, a dark hole, lacking of oxygen, a feisty quarry, always. If it's in February, usually if you get females, they are the worst dogs. Okay, so the bayer mixer is very important. Okay, in the beginning of the year, they aren't alone in the sets. Okay, there are 1, 2, maybe 3, and sometimes two different kinds, 2 different species, like fox and badger. You never know. Badger you can find out outside, but fox is more like an occupa. He occupies a part of the big badger hotel. Okay. So mainly treatment is like Soto, recovering electrolytes immediately, because I had some dogs staying underground for 4 hours with 36 degrees outside. I can't imagine the heat that was in there, in type of character, temperament it will give its life. Similar to the Jack Terrier, but Jack Terriers are a little bit more kamikaze. Okay?
Right.
They are more feisty. They are more aggressive. Okay? I didn't hear until today a Jag Terrier bay. Only at boars. Okay, Sean. First of all, I only hunted boar with Jack Terriers and Pit Bulls. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Then I had a very nasty accident, and I lost my favorite Pit Bull and one of my favorite Terriers. So I only hunt wild boars with some hunting friends. Right. Personally, I only do underground work. For me, personally, okay? And that's the traits that I look in my dogs. Right. Of course, my dogs, they can see a fox above or a wild boar. They go there, okay? One day I was walking in the forest with Miss Oporto and with a friend, and she went to middle of the, how you say, the boarding of the river has cannabials. It's like sugar plants without sugar, okay? And then we like corn, and then we listen a fuzz, okay, a big fuzz, corning being stepped on, okay, and then comes a wild boar with miss grabbed in their ear. So if they don't bark with that size, it's a problem. Okay. So for me, Patterdales are specific. And I know people, and I have good friends that have Patterdales that hunt everything. But for me, the only work that I do is the one that they were bred to and worked until today. Okay.
Right.
First, we have to talk about what is a fel and what is a Patterdale. Okay.
Right.
Mainly, all the UK Terriers have some relationship, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because in the old days, they cannot afford to have many dogs. And they cannot afford to have non-working dogs, okay? Some hunted, some make money in the other sports, whatever. I bless them because today we have UK breeds, and they are amazing,
mm-hmm.
okay? But in their gene pool, they all related.
Mm-hmm.
All of them. Look, for example, the father of Miss Oporto had 50% fel, 20% border, and 20% Staffy, I think. Okay? So, even in the beginning, Brian Nuttall and the other, all of them, I cannot say what was the first. So, if we're going to talk about the first, we need to go to Cyril Bray and Brightmore and all the old gamekeepers. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
They were breeding between them the best terriers that they have. As the Irish saying, the Irish have a saying that it doesn't matter what the color is the horse.
Mm-hmm.
If he does the job that we need them to do, like fel terriers, why everybody say that fel terriers are more bayers? Because in the fel and the moorlands, you have big rocks that you cannot move without a big engineering or dynamite. Usually they they kill the dogs with dynamite. So no, at that time they don't have big machinery. But it's like here, some places that we have granite, I say no. Why do we hunt in granite? Only if I have a 100% bayer. Because if it's a hard dog, it's more chance that I lose it. Okay. So the older guys put it whatever they need. In that fel and moorland, they had more the Bayer mixer type, and the harsh coated, and the browns and the whites and the brindles and the blacks. Okay. On the Patterdale area, they are famous for the smooth coated dogs, mainly blacks, mainly with lots of bull insertions. Okay, no worries. It's no secret that Brian Nuttall put it Irish Staffordshire, Staffish, pit dogs, whatever, and the formula worked for them and work for us now. Even if they talk about the old school Brian Nuttall blood or the new school Nuttall blood, I don't care. Okay, if it works, it doesn't matter. Okay. So there is others that put like bull terriers, mini bull terriers, Bedlingtons. They all crossed, working Lakelands, working Welsh, because they needed dogs that worked.
Right.
They didn't go with the. So Patterdale is not a breed. Patterdale is a type of dog. They are underground working dogs, and they have the type of Patterdale, the type of the fel and the moorlands. because they are the original types. I don't know what. Maybe I'm getting, and I'm sorry. I have to say I'm sorry to my Irish friends because I don't know the working terrier story of Ireland.
Right.
Okay. I lived in the UK. I talked to much people in the UK, but I also talked to hunting people in Germany that have Jack Terriers at that time. Okay, so it's hard. It's hard because they both have the same gene pool, because Jack Terriers came from old black and tan terriers that some German fellow brought to Germany and bred. And believe me when I say this, Jack Terriers are the best all-rounder terrier in the world. Okay? Because they can go in small places and they can hunt big game. They don't care. They're hunters for passion. That is imprinted in whatever makes that brain tick. Okay? I had a Jack Terrier that hunted leaves. If a leaf falls off the tree in the backyard, he hunted. So it's very very trippy dog. It's a very very good hunting dog. It's the best all rounder. I know a guy here that hunts. He shoots pigeons, okay, and he hunts with the Jack Terrier. The Jack Terrier retrieves the pigeons. Also, he makes trails of wounded wild boars. Okay, he doesn't like underground work because nobody likes underground work. If you have a hard dog, you have to dig, and sometimes you have to dig 1 meter, and the other times you have to dig 7, 10, 2 days digging, and you never found the dog. Okay. Every time, Sean, every time that people start talking about, is your Patradel purebred? Purebred. Okay. So, this takes me to a big question. Have a ball and make a proper DNA to your dog, and you will be amazed. For sure, I will be. Okay, because the new trend now in UK, you don't know if you get the Patradel, only if it's a genuine terrier man will say that this is all Patradel, because now the trend is 50-50 cross or 75-25 Patradel Jack Terrier, because so many Jack Terriers were imported to the UK.
Right.
And they follow up the same philosophy that brought our working terriers to nowadays, that we cross and mate what works. Okay?
Yep.
And it's like a personal thing. I usually guarantee if it doesn't work, bring him back and take another. But usually, I don't get me wrong. I don't get wrong. Because sometimes it's one, sometimes there is none available, because it's like nowadays. I have Bill with 13 years. If he breeds, I'm waiting for a bitch to get it. If it breeds, I will keep his blood going. I have a daughter of him with 4 years. I have a grandson of him with 4 years, and amazing worker, a mixer now. Started a Bayer, and now it's developing other type of game, of skills. And then I have Sheena, that is daughter to Miss Oporto, and it's a 50-50. Because what I like in her, she's an amazing worker. I like her how to work. When I get here there, she'll start to be more. How do I say? She saves herself until I can get there.
Mm-hmm.
But the first ones were a mess, very hard. She wasn't right with her head, too much heat. But in that day, she worked too, amazing. From that point to today, she worked very solid. I'm a very humble guy, okay? I have heard people saying in my face, and believe me, I believe that guy, because he's a whole hunter.
Mm-hmm.
That some dogs with 4 years have 400 foxes.
Wow.
Okay? No, my dogs haven't done 400 foxes. I keep a very humble and keen workers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't work every day. I don't hunt every day. Maybe I hunt weekend yes, weekend no. But when I have hunting permissions and I have hunting spots, I will do 24/7 if I can.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So my dogs are humble. They work very well. The only Bayer mixer that I was telling you that. Sorry, Sheena. By the way, Sheena is an half and half, and I don't care because I bred her to a jag that I hunted for the past and the company for all his life. I have a half brother of him, so my first jag was half brother of him, and this one was 2 steps down in only one thing. The other one breathed, eated, and shitted hunting passion. Okay? This was a more keen worker, okay? Not so kamikaze, still hard, but this dog only worked while born.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
And I cross him. I cross him with Miss Oporto, and it gave me a very good litter that I kept the top one. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a 50-50 battle cross. I call it a battle cross between 2 different working breeds. I call it a battle cross.
Right.
I had some few before, and then maybe you find a hunter guy that has Jack Bulls. Okay, Jack Bulls are very good dogs if they are bred right. Okay, I know a very good hunter in Spain that has Jack Bulls, and I think it was the best ones that I heard about it. I never saw them hunting, but I heard about it from many hunters, different hunters. So, but I got a couple of Jack Bulls one day from a different type of cross. So that Spanish guy crossed it with Bull Terrier.
Mm-hmm.
This breeder crossed it with Staffy. The only problem was that Staffy was a blue one from show lines or company lines, whatever. And that I take my hat off to Mr. Brian.
Right.
Because I see what he breeds, I see what he defends, and that's a Staffy that I would cross into any type of working terrier, okay? Because they keep the old traits. I was in England for 1.5 years living and working. I lived in the Midlands, and I went to many Staffy shows, okay? Because at that time I lived with a Spanish 2 brothers that Staffy breeders, show Staffy. And I went to many ones. And I went to the Fallon Moreland Staffy show. And I remember this like yesterday, or like now. And we are there, all people, all the women and all people from around the UK bringing their stuffies and whatever. And it enters the number one member, okay? The oldest member alive. A chap, a very old guy, dressed like a working type of English people. From the blacksmith or the mining, I with his cap, okay?
Yeah.
And in its lead, on its lead, it was a Staffy, completely old school Staffy, white and brindle, okay? With his working harness made by hand in leather. Okay, the leash was a rope with a knot. Okay, old traditional. I remember this because at this point I was talking to the president, the actual president at that time of the club, and he said, "Sorry, Mr. Number One is here." So, and who is Mr. Number One? This is the oldest member we have. And I asked him if I could go with him, and we talked a little bit, and the person stayed there, but he didn't listen very well, and then started to be problems because he had a proper Staffy, and the other ones were like stuffed dogs,
Right.
if you know what I mean.
Right.
Okay. It was a big fuss in the ring because he had the same right to pass his dog. He didn't want anything because nowadays Staffies shows judges and breeders like the more bull type, but his dog was half and half, the 50-50 perfection. Okay, in body, soundness, head, muzzle. And he had what the Staffy had, heart. He was a full-grown male Staffordshire Bull Terrier in the middle of other males. You don't get close than 3 meters because he's on it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And the man was... We are talking about a 90-year-ish man. Okay? Dog man, terrier man. There. I was amazed. So,
Wow.
sometimes jack bulls, some are good, usually if they are bred properly.
Right.
Okay, there are many people. I think they lost the connection with the Patterdale, with when they were underground working, because the terrier man only took a part of a fox hunting when the fox went down. Okay? Then comes the terrier man with his leather bag, usually on a bike or on a horse. Nowadays it's an ATV or a Jeep. So he put the terrier in it, and the Lord wanted the fox flushed, not grabbed, not by a hard dog. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's only about keeping the hunt going. So when terrier men started to do their work only without the fox hunting, they started to bring the lurchers, and there have always been now forbidden, but the old days it was the badger trials and the fox trials. You have read it. Wheaton, Staffies, Bull Terriers that are champions over old time trials. Okay, that they had to show their skills, their courage, their heart. They're willing to be the only one to be there. Okay, so it's amazing. Nowadays, we try to do it like we take the dog, we take the quarry. Usually, it's in the decision of the manager or the hunting president club if we release it or they do what they want with that, with the quarry, you know. So in the old days, usually they had a bigger dog to put when they get to the quarry. Okay?
Right.
But mainly, the terrier dog was made to flush the quarry so the hunt will continue. Okay, with greyhounds, lurchers, foxhounds, or whatever. Usually I say this: inbred 3 times, and you will see. I don't say much because the base, it's in pit dogs, the early pit dogs before they went to the States.
Mm-hmm.
So you have battle crosses between Irish pit, Staffies, Bull Terriers. They are together. That's why I told earlier that all terriers in the UK have something to do with the other. They are all related. And I'm not kidding.
Right.
You can see in some pages. Look, I'm manager. I'm the admin of a group called Working Terriers for Sale or Swap. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I've been the admin of that particular group. I don't know, 5 years. It has 15,000. I'm telling it right? Yeah, 15,000 members. Okay? Just check the posts. Just check what is available. Mm-hmm. You'll be amazed with the litters. Much of the cases, they are working dogs. Others aren't. But they are plenty. And that show the spirit and philosophy of the working terriers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Some were registered by the QC, and by the way, ruined. We all can think that. And they are thinking, look, in shows in Northern Europe, ruled by FCE, there is Pachadel Great Champions of shows. Also in Brazil. Sorry. It's only a Pachadel if it works.
Right.
If not, it's a Black Terrier. Okay, it's like a pit bull. A bully, it's not a pit bull.
Right.
A Staffy, American Staffordshire, is not a pit bull not nowadays.
Right.
It's a complete different breed. In the early days, yes, plenty of pit bull to save to start the Amstaff. Plenty of it. Okay? But nowadays, no, they are apart. They have like a small percentage, like 0.000 point something.
Mm-hmm.
It's nothing. You know? And then they simply breed and make what it works, and it's amazing. It doesn't matter what the color is. So, as like my a Spanish friend that has dogs that he bought from Schwab's line directly, that has a register from the American Pachadel Club. I don't mind. It's amazing, okay? But at that time, he was like me 15 years ago, a poor fellow, starting to having hunting terriers, and they were too expensive. It's not nowadays they are expensive. They were expensive in the old days also. And believe me, if you weren't a British, a UK person that know between them, you only get something first buying it and then starting a friendship, and it's weird, but I bought my first Pachadel money. It was humble money, but it was money. The second, the first female, it was money, right. And it was a little bit more money. But the FC dog, like a Jack Terrier, can cost €1,000. A good one, a very good one from a very best line, okay? Or you can get one for 150 or 200 or 350 from European Eastern countries. Because there is plenty good Jack Terriers in France and in Spain, okay? Also in Portugal, but there are 1 or 2 breeders that keep Jack Terriers in Portugal. So they are not easy to maintain, okay? Right. It's a very hard dog, a very active dog that needs to burn out hunting passion. He needs to rip, okay? He needs to trail, search, remembers like Metallica, search and destroy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at any time they are crossed, so I don't mind. I don't mind who does it. At the beginning, I was similar with the purist. Only Pachadels, and then I saw for a PBT online forum the crossings and the pedigrees, and they cross Chinaman, they cross Jeep, they cross Garner, they cross whatever. Okay, you have coyotes. Perfectly. I understand perfectly. Sure. In Europe we have Jack Bulls. It's the same thing.
Right.
It's a Jack Bull or a Peter Pat or a Piranha dog. Do you remember that dog? That name, the Piranha, the Piranha.
The piranha, yeah.
The piranha, yeah.
Yeah, the Red Rocket dog and whatever. That is a Jack Bull or a Pat Bull. It's it's the same thing. Okay, no worries. Yeah. If it works for you, do it. I've done it. I can tell you a few crosses, crazy crosses, battle crosses that I've done. I've done Pat Jag. I've done Stuffy Pat. I've done Bull Terrier Jag. I've done British Bulldog and Malinois. I have done French Bulldog and British Bulldog. I have done Pit Bulldog and British Bulldog. These are a few. I had a Pit Bull cross / boxer that was the best athletic dog that I have.
Wow.
Wow. If it works and you can keep it, for sure, it's not going to be a very, maybe. This is always maybe. We're going back to the Pit Bull community. They shared a lot, okay? So you want a game dog? You cross two inbred dogs from different. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This I learned in Pit Bull community. You take an inbred dog from a line, another inbred dog from another line. That trades with the traits that you want, and in that litter, you will have your game dog. If it's from working stock, what the hell? It's from working stock. I know champions from Gold Beaches, so
right.
It's genetics.
Right.
It's like lottery. Don't go there.
Uh-huh.
I don't go there anymore. Okay? I saw people crossing dogs with the genetic tests for coloring, and they didn't get the color that they want. So forget that. It doesn't matter the color of the horse.
Mm-hmm.
It is what time he does. Okay? What he does. Always back to the Pit Bull community, because it was my big library to learn almost everything. And then you have the name game. Game in Pit Bulls, it's not the same that game in hunting terriers, okay?
Right.
Game in hunting terriers It's the passion to work until it's impossible for them. Many die, okay? They lack of good sense. But if you found a dog that is intelligent enough to work hard, whatever the quarry, underground, 2-3 hours, and has the good sense to come out and live and go back in and hunt, right? It's like the turns. It's not the same, okay? He's your teacher. He is teaching you what is dealing down there, okay? If a dog pops out, if it's young, okay? If it's young, okay, it needs more work because you need to roll it and you need to hunt it more, okay? If it's old, you have to know it. You have to know it, okay? Sheena sometimes, in the first one, got out, okay? Then I found out why. Because the quarry, broke the tunnel, okay? With the claws.
Mm-hmm.
It broke the tunnel. All sand go down. And in that same spot, I took Sheena without breathing, like a meter down in sand, okay? I gave her a cardio respiratory massage to live, okay? It's the second time for that bitch. That bitch is amazing, but it's too much. She needs two, okay? But the quarry smashed the tunnel at the same time she tried to have contact with her. So all the sand was on top of her. She could not move front or back. It's like the passage in the quarry between two rocks. Okay. The last dog that was lost in the hunt, she got stuck between two rocks that were in the tunnel, okay? And she tried to pass and she got stuck. She could not breathe in or breathe out because of round rib cages. Spanability is everything. If the chest of the dog doesn't span by the middle of the hands together, okay? You are not working underground dogs. You are trying to do something else, but not working underground dogs. They need the ability to breathe with lack of oxygen. And a dog with round rib cage, no, it doesn't have the same aerobic functions.
Right.
That's why the bull insertion on